Okay, club. Our next speaker is Miss Hyojung Huh. She will present a paper called Metamorphosis of Traditional Heroes in Judeo-Christian Myth. New Heroes Maker from Donnerstag aus Licht by Stockhausen. Thank you.
Hello. Thanks for coming and thanks for giving me that great opportunity to present my paper. Can you hear me? Okay. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about Stockhausen's opera cycle Light, especially Thursday from Light. The opera cycle Light and the opera Donnerstag aus Licht, which means Thursday from Light. In my paper, I concentrated on the main protagonist, Michael, but the Stockhausen's opera is not that popular, so it is inevitable for me to skim quickly the general information about the opera so that you can understand and I can explain the thesis of my paper more clearly. So let me start with the general information about the opera cycle and the opera Thursday from Light. The Thursday from Light is part of opera cycle Light. The opera cycle is composed between 1977 and 2003, so it took about 26 years for Stockhausen to complete this opera cycle. The total running time is about 29 hours, and it is a huge and monumental work. The cycle consists of 7 operas, each named after a day of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. The cycle deals with the story of 3 main characters, Michael, Eve, and Lucifer. Michael is protagonist, and Eve is Michael's partner, and Lucifer is Michael's antagonist. Stockhausen uses all seven permutations of those 3 protagonists, and that makes the 7 operas. So first, each character has an opera devoted to them. So like Thursday for Michael, and Saturday for Lucifer, Monday for Eve. Then there are 3 possible combinations of 2 protagonists. And it makes another 3. And then finally, Michael, Eve, and Lucifer works together in Wednesday. That's how all 7 operas are generated. The next decision concerns who should perform these roles. Here, Stockhausen settles on a novel approach. He assigned each protagonist a dancer, an instrumental player, and a singer. So let me show an excerpt from Act 1 in Thursday from Light. So as you see, Michael appears as a tenor and a trumpet player and a dancer, and they act as Michael on stage simultaneously. Another interesting feature of opera cycle is that Stockhausen uses a serial mechanism that holds the 7 operas together. The most essential serial mechanism is formulas. Formula is a single-line melody that represents a certain protagonist. So this is Michael's formula. This is formula for Eve. And this is Lucifer's formula. And then Stockhausen made a super formula from those 3 formulas. Stockhausen layers those 3 formulas on top of each, and that makes a super formula. So it is 3-part counterpoint. So now let's go into Thursday from Light, the opera. Of the 7 operas, Thursday from Light composed first between 1977 and 1980s. And it is mainly devoted to the story of Mikhail. Thursday from Light begins with Mikhail's childhood and traces his life on the earth and covers his return to heaven. So let me go over the storyline of Thursday from Light briefly. It consists of 3 acts. The first act, Mikhail's youth, consists of 3 scenes. In the first scene, childhood, Mikhail, a son of poor parents, demonstrates exceptional gift. His parents fight, and Mikhail's younger brother died in infancy. And Mikhail's mom goes mad and attempts suicide and then hospitalized. And his father, Mikhail's father, goes off to war after her mother went to the hospitalized. So such depiction is very closely related to Stockhausen's bibliographical sketch of his own childhood. In the scene 2, Mikhail meets Mondeva, who is half bird and half woman, and Mikhail falls in love with her. In the scene 3, examination, Mikhail undergoes an entrance exam to the conservatory. In the exam, Mikhail amazed the jury and they admitted him. In the second act, Mikhail takes a journey around the world. And there are 7 stations along the way: Germany, New York, Japan, Bali, India, Central Africa, and then finally Jerusalem. This is actually the journey for Mikhail to find his lover, Mondeva, Eve. And they finally meet at the last station. In the third act, Mikhail returns to his home in heaven. So far I have talked about general information about the cycle and really brief storyline about the opera. Now let's go into the protagonist, Mikhail. In Thursday from Light, Mikhail is depicted as a son of God who comes to the earth as a human being. The life of Mikhail on earth is described as a returning journey of a man toward his own self as a divine being. Finally, Mikhail returns to heaven and takes the throne as the Son of God. In Thursday from Light, Mikhail is a mythological protagonist, for he is a man who is also God. And Mikhail is a hero for he completes his mission and achieves transcendent knowledge. Stockhausen's Mikhail derived from various mythological traditions: Judeo-Christian mysticism and the Messianic message, Urantia book, Indian myth, and American Indian oral tradition. Stockhausen mixes the story of traditional traditions, and then he creates his own hero and mixed that with his own biographical sketch. So, aforementioned, Thursday from Light contains Stockhausen's biographical sketch, and Stockhausen depicts Mikhail as similar to his own childhood. Stockhausen treats Mikhail as if the character were the composer himself. In this context, Stockhausen's Mikhail has greater significance than just a mere character of an opera. Stockhausen's Micaiah can be understood as a critical character who embodies an ideal personality that Stockhausen himself wanted to be. Therefore, understanding the character of Micaiah is critical to understand the opera cycle Light and composer Stockhausen. Along the various traditions that Stockhausen uses in this presentation, I will focus on the Judeo-Christian myth to examine the characteristic of Micaiah. Stockhausen's Micaiah shares common aspect with three different heroes in Judeo-Christian myth: Archangel Michael and Jesus and Merkava. However, Stockhausen's Micaiah shows critical difference from them, and it unveils Stockhausen's outlook and his viewpoints on values. Micaiah is the name of archangel in Judeo-Christian tradition. And Stockhausen borrowed the name and characteristics for his protagonist. The first book in Bible that Micaiah appears in is Daniel. Here, Micaiah appears as a protector of Israel. In the New Testament, Micaiah appears in the book of Revelation. In the chapter 12 of the book of Revelation, Micaiah is depicted as the archangel who fights against Satan in the battle of heaven. Such appearance of Micaiah in Bible is directly reflected in Thursday from Light. Stockhausen uses tape recording of a choir in the cycle Light and calls it Invisible Choir. The text that Invisible Choir sings contains a scene similar to the Bible, Book of Daniel and Book of Revelation. In the text of Invisible Choir, Micaiah arises to fight against Satan, and it is the same as in the Bible. This is an English translation of Invisible Choir's text. The text, "The Lord in heaven will rise up from his throne, and he will fight, and it's going to be the end of Satan." Such expression is very closely related to the Bible. In addition, Stockhausen's Micaiah is in many respects in a Christ figure. In Thursday from Light, Micaiah is called Son of God. And his nature as a Son of God is identical to Jesus Christ that the Bible depicts. In Act 3, Micaiah finishes his journey on the earth and returns back to heaven. There he is seated at the right hand of the throne of God, and it is identical to the position of Jesus in Christian Bible. Moreover, Stockhausen borrowed the theology of mortal incarnation of Jesus and applies it to his Micaiah. In Thursday from Light, Micaiah is a divine being who becomes flesh, and it is directly related to the image of Jesus in the Bible. In the Thursday from Light, Micaiah's divine identity is already alluded in Act 1, Micaiah's childhood. Through the text of Invisible Choir, Stockhausen foreshadows that Micaiah is not a common child, but he is Son of God. While Micaiah is grown up as if he is a common boy, on the stage, the Invisible Choir kept singing that Micaiah is a special being, the Son of God. And this is the same approach with which the Bible depicts the baby Jesus. though people did not recognize that the Jesus is Son of God in Bible, angels keep praying Jesus as Son of God. In addition, Stockhausen uses the obvious term crucifixion in a certain moment in Act 2. In Act 2, Michael's journey, after he went through 7 stations, and then at the last station, Michael met Mondev finally, and they play duet together. But at that time, Michael's enemy appears, and they mock and make fun of the duet. And Stockhausen named that moment crucifixion. So by using the obvious programmatic title crucifixion, Stockhausen connects Michael to Jesus there. However, Michael's crucifixion is different from that of Jesus. Jesus died on the cross. Crucifixion in Christianity contains actual death of physical body. However, Stockhausen does not portray the cross on the stage, and instead Stockhausen let his enemy mock Michael. Then Michael goes back to heaven without going through physical death of his body. So such depiction going to heaven without going through physical death, such depiction reflect another tradition of Jewish mysticism that is called Merkava. Merkava literally means chariot in Hebrew. This is chariot made by angel that has 4 different faces: one man, an ox, an eagle, and lion. 4 angels makes 4 sides of the box, and that can carry a man from earth to heaven and from heaven to earth. And then in Jewish mysticism, in Jewish mystic tradition, Merkava describes a mythological figure who connects the earth and the heaven. So Merkava mysticism is seen in Enoch in the book of Genesis. In some Jewish tradition, Enoch has been regarded as having entered heaven without going through physical death. So Enoch is believed to enter heaven alive. Stockhausen's Michael can be understood in the context of Merkava because Michael is connecting earth and heaven, and Michael entered heaven without death. So such identity of Michael is also musicalized as his formula. According to an interview with Frisius in 1982, Stockhausen employed symbolic meaning on the interval contents on the formula. So unlike formulas of Eve and Lucifer, the formula of Michael begins in the high register D and then finishes 1 octave lower on the same pitch. The descending octave figure symbolizes the mortal incarnation of Michael, who comes down from heaven to the earth. In addition, the fact that formula begins and ends on the same pitch symbolizes that Michael is a perfect person. Moreover, the formula of Michael is based on the perfect pitch. So as you see on the first measure, D to A, and then fourth measure, D flat to A flat to D flat, it's like perfect fifth. And then here you see another, here perfect fifth. So the the skeleton of the formula is based on the perfect pitch. And Stockhausen articulated in his interview saying that those interval Mikhail formula with perfect pitch, it is intentional thing, and it represents the perfectness of Mikhail. So as such, Stockhausen's hero Mikhail is based on the traditional heroes in Judeo-Christian myth. Archangel Mikhail, Jesus, and Merkaba. And musical device also reflects it. However, Stockhausen's Mikhail shows critical difference from traditional heroes. Traditional heroes achieve their identity as a hero by saving others. Moses became a hero by extricating the people of Israel from Egypt and leading them toward the promised land Canaan. And Jesus became a hero of Christianity through his death for others. By suffering and dying on the cross on behalf of mankind, Jesus became a hero. However, Stockhausen's Mikhail becomes a hero through a totally different process. Mikhail in Thursday from Light becomes a hero by finding his true himself. In other words, Mikhail returns to his original self as a divine being by achieving true knowledge that was inside him. Mikhail becomes a hero by his own enlightenment. Instead of a traditional hero who saved the world, Stockhausen presents a new hero, an individualized and internalized hero. By the way, he is Stockhausen's son, and who played Mikhail in the premiere. He is a trumpet player. In addition, the greatest hero in Christianity, Jesus, completes his mission by obeying the will of his Father. Jesus becomes a hero by completing the mission that his Father has imposed on him. However, Stockhausen's Mikhail is different. Mikhail stands against Lucifer, who is described as Mikhail's father in Act 1. In Thursday from Light, Stockhausen weaves the three protagonists in several layers. While Mikhail stays in the same person, Eve and Lucifer metamorphose to different persons according to the progress of drama. So Eve appears as Mikhail's mother and Mikhail's lover, and Lucifer appears as Mikhail's father in Act 1, and then become Mikhail's rival and enemy in Act 3. So in other words, Lucifer is Eve's husband and Mikhail's father in Act 1, but then in Act 3, Eve became Mikhail's lover and Lucifer became an enemy of Mikhail. So it's Stockhausen views complicated way. So in summary, Mikhail fights and wins against Lucifer, his father. Mikhail is a dynamic character who stands against his physical father, Lucifer. And Lucifer is described as the one whom Mikhail has to overcome and finally conquer. The relationship of Mikhail and Lucifer as a match is reminiscent of the myth of Oedipus and contrasts drastically with the relationship between Jesus and God the Father. So Thursday from Light points toward the future by employing traditional symbols. The protagonist Mikhail can be understood in the same context. Stockhausen's Mikhail is derived from mythological heroes of ancient traditions. Mikhail was born as a hero like other traditional heroes. In this context, Stockhausen follows the traditional deterministic perspectives on heroes. Hero is born as hero. However, Stockhausen's hero is the hero who concentrates on himself. Mikhail becomes a hero by knowing himself better and achieving transcendent knowledge. So by presenting such a new picture of hero, Stockhausen may assert that the true hero of our age is the one who deeply understands himself and drives the truth from that knowledge. Stockhausen's hero seems to be too static and too internal to be a true hero compared to traditional hero who fights against evil. However, Stockhausen presents the dynamic of his hero on a totally different level. Through a hero who makes his own way, rather than following will of the absolute or the father, Stockhausen gives vitality to his new hero. Thursday from Light reflects the composer's biographical sketch. Thus, Michael can be understood as an ideal ego of Stockhausen. In addition, the father can be understood as a symbol of tradition or the past that Stockhausen wanted to overcome. In this context, Mikhail's journey in this opera meets Stockhausen's own life journey at two keywords: independence and enlightenment. The independence and enlightenment that Mikhail represents in Thursday from Light may be the representation of composer Stockhausen. Independence to a composer who overcame tradition of the past, and enlightenment to a composer who pursued his own personal enlightenment. So by presenting a new hero, Mikhail, Stockhausen seems to unveil his own mission that he wanted to complete through his life as a composer. So this is it. Thank you very much. So any questions? I saw Monday from Light, and that was about Eve, and it shows lots of symbols of mythological things, and I even had a headache after watching that opera, and that I was interested in how Stockhausen would describe Mikhail, because I knew the Archangel Mikhail and story of Jesus, and I was interested in how he can mix his protagonist for his opera in that mythological symbolism. So, thank you.